on track. You might sound like shit, but I don't think so.
I'll sound like shit for.
You know what? Actually,
maybe...
no. You know what? I can test this. I can put you into one. I think I can put you into one. Oh, I need to create an aggregate device.
If we're gonna do that, I
It's
have
okay.
to.
Eventually, I can do that.
That would mean I need to get my mic set up then, and I need to have my mic going through Discord so I don't sound like crap.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we can do that in the future because I can. Yeah, well, kind of. Audition will have. Well, no, not really. Twitch.
So that means I need to hook my mic up to Discord for this one because you're gonna have both of our audio for the podcast, right?
I don't.
You have
I mean,
to,
I
otherwise...
could, or you could just record on your side.
Well, yeah, but if I record on my side, you'd have both of our audio anyway, right? Because of the way you have to hook it up for Twitch. So you have my audio.
Well, no, because the way it's set up right now for Twitch. Well, I could if both of ours were like one channel. Right now, the way I have it set up is, yeah, no, I could. Like, I could do that. I could have it going to Twitch.
Yeah, but I'm asking what it is right now.
Right
like,
now,
if
I have
Twitch will have both of our audios and the...
Okay, that's better, I think. Why not? Oh, okay.
Let's see if you can hear me on the...
Oh, yeah. I think people can hear you. I keep moving.
Am I louder than you?
Here. No, I don't think so.
I think I might be louder, but I'll let other people say.
If you are, that's okay. I can always turn my thing up a little bit. Because I have a gain controller. Look at that. Oh, I turned down the gain. Crap. Okay, so we are 226 out.
Test. All right. I got my mic set up too. How long? Oh God, we have no time.
I know we have zero time. There's a few people watching.
You want to run everybody through things? Do the intro.
Let's put this in the Discord as well so that people can watch.
I did.
You did? No, you didn't.
Alex says I'm louder.
Yeah.
So you might want to turn me down a little bit. Okay. So.
Okay. Let's do an intro really quick. Just put it in there. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm gonna be drafting. What are you drafting off of? Just intuition this time?
When am I not drafting off of intuition?
That is true. Oh, here comes the cat already. Look at this. Look at this. He came to say hello. The cat is trying to draft.
I haven't started recording. What have I done?
Okay.
Come on, Audacity, open up. God. Record.
So my
test.
Okay, my screen for the people watching on Twitch as well. I'm sorry, I don't know what my screen is doing here. Like you can see how the like the ESPN screen will kind of like twitch in and out a little bit. Like it'll get smaller when I switch tabs. I don't know why that is exactly. So you may see that a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Mock draft number 3 on the season. We're doing a little bit of a different one this time. We're going simpler. We're doing a points-only mock draft. Now, apparently we've always misunderstood what points-only means, and we thought it was like head-to-head, but just points. That actually
I didn't think that. You thought that. You're a crazy person.
You're a liar because I had to explain it to you because you thought it was the same thing as Roto. Which
no, I didn't. Oh. I did not think it was the same thing as Roto. I thought that points only just meant goals and assists were the only thing that counted. That's what I always thought points only meant. And then Yahoo's version of points only is basically Roto except with points, which is weird to me. I don't know why that is. If you do a points only league on Yahoo, it is not what I think points only is. But
fair.
But
so anyways, the scoring for this one is going to be 3 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, and 4 points for a win for a goalie. So goalies will be kind of devalued here to an extent, but that's okay. We will deal with that. We can draft with that. But this one should be much simpler in terms of strategy. There isn't as much strategy involved when you're looking at points-only leagues. Okay, so I'm on the clock. I'm first overall. To be fair, I actually didn't really randomize it. It's just based on when people join because I'm an idiot and didn't know how to change order. So anyways, I'm first on the clock.
You do join into a random team though, so it is kind of random.
It's a little bit random. Like you don't really get exactly the team. But as the commissioner, I get the first one, which isn't that much fair. So I don't think there's much of a question here on where to go. I think that ESPN's rankings in this case are pretty accurate. With Nikita Kucherov up front. And remember, this is a forward defenseman league, so positions don't matter in this situation. And so I'm going to go Nikita Kucherov first overall. I think it makes the most sense. I wish there were power play points, but again, Nikita Kucherov as well, when you're looking at McDavid versus Kucherov in a points-only league like this, Nikita Kucherov
I think it's close.
It's close, but I think that Kucherov gets more goals than McDavid, which makes him the kind of, in my opinion, consensus number 1.
It also depends on how you set your league up. A lot of these points-only leagues, like the really basic ones, will just have literally a point is a point, and that's it.
Correct.
So you have they're kind of interchangeable at that point.
And quite obviously, McDavid goes number 2, McKinnon goes number 3. I don't think there was any surprise in that order whatsoever. I think that was exactly the order you would have
expected. But at this point, even though we're only on pick 4, I think it starts to get more interesting.
Correct. People can go many different ways, and it depends how you value things, right? Assists
you're looking for Rocket Richard.
Yes. Well, but
Patrick Kane goes fourth.
Patrick Kane. That's actually surprising to me. No, I don't hate it.
So the first 4 picks are Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon, and Kane now.
Okay.
You'd think that your premier goal scorers are going to start showing up, your Ovies, your Pasternaks.
That kind of thing.
But we'll see. This is also generic, so there's
16. Okay, Brandon is actually muted for a second here because my trial mode just like canceled out. So anyways, Pasternak goes 5th overall. Yeah, the thing we were using here for audio kind of glitched out for whatever reason. Okay, so Pasternak goes 5th overall to 4D chess. So it's been Kucherov, McDavid, McKinnon, Patrick Kane, and David Pasternak in that order. Kind of the order you would have expected, but again, I think Brandon, before he kind of cut out there, was right. Right now, I think now you're going to start looking at the premier goal scorers, start to see who's scoring, who's going to put the puck in net more than anything. That's kind of what you want. So let's see who goes up next. So right now on the clock is actually Austin Matthews goes. Wow, Mefnik off the board. That's actually the highest of all the ones we've done so far. That's the highest Austin Matthews has gone, and quite frankly, I don't hate it again. I do think, though, I don't want to say it's a reach, but it is a little bit odd for Austin Matthews to go that high. There was a little bit of talk where I think it was either Pasta or someone like that said that Austin Matthews was their pick for the most points this year for the Hart. So maybe there's a little bit of steam behind Austin Matthews now. And Brandon's on the clock. He has 20 seconds left. I kind of think I know where he's going to go with this. I'm not positive, but we'll see here. Of course, Brandon goes Alex Ovechkin. I was almost positive that if Ovechkin fell to Brandon, that's who he was going to get. Okay, so now we're up 30 seconds left on the clock for Stogie Louie.
Brandon obviously took Ovechkin, and it looks like the next pick here is Team Gambo. That is going to be super confusing for me. Team Gambo looks like they're not here right now, so that one may be an auto pick here. Steven Stamkos just went after Alexander Ovechkin. So 2 goal scorers kind of back to back. And again, it's interesting because if you go back and listen or watch some of our old mock drafts, this is quite a different order than what you saw in those other ones. I mean, you saw in the last one Steven Stamkos not going as high. And again, Team Gambo here I don't think Team Gambo is actually here. So most likely they're going to be auto-drafted Braden Point, whose ADP is now 7.8. It was, I think, around 5, so it looks like his ADP is falling a little bit. But, of course, Braden Point to me on ESPN is ranked projected way too high. So we're going to see that ADP be super high. Okay, so Team Gambo, of course, the auto pick here, 16 seconds on the clock. And then we'll see where he's going to go, Braden Point. That's just what's going to happen. Okay. So far, so good. Alexander Barkov goes. Team Gambo with Alexander Barkov. I guess he must have shown up or had a queue. Because that definitely was not the next ranked player. And then after Alexander Barkov, Sidney Crosby goes. That one's kind of obvious, I think. I'm actually surprised Crosby fell as far as he did. I think that Barkov maybe has a higher ceiling than Crosby, but I think I still like Crosby over Barkov. That's okay. Okay, and then John Tavares goes after Sidney Crosby. So now Tavares goes off the board. Again, kind of the goal scorers are going, while even just having points. And again, Brandon's audio right now, completely died. Whatever we were using to kind of get the audio, to pipe the audio in, completely broke. And I would fix it here on the podcast, but we're in the middle of a mock draft. It's a little hard to fix audio while you're in the middle of a mock draft, trying to pay attention. So I'll try to fix it. If I can't, just know that Brandon is out there somewhere talking in the ether to nobody, which maybe is kind of normal for him. Okay, so who goes now? So now we're looking at the top players left from projection on ESPN are Braden Point, Brad Marchand, and Mikko Rantanen. Not surprising that Brent Burns goes now. So our first defenseman goes off the board at the end of the turn. Dude wears Makar, goes with the defenseman, then goes with Brad Marchand. I think that's a smart move, given that he's at the end of a turn here. Go defenseman, get the best defenseman on the board for sure, and also get Brad Marchand. I'm curious here where Erik Karlsson goes in this draft, because I feel like in most of our mocks so far, Brandon's gotten him in, I think, every single draft so far. And he's fallen a little bit too far for my liking. And as far as points go, I wouldn't be surprised if him and Brent Burns are pretty similar in points this year. So I'm curious to see in this one, which is a points-only draft, where exactly he ends up going. So, because in my opinion, that's probably the next best defenseman on the board. So now you're looking at quite a few guys still available. Then Johnny Gaudreau goes. That one makes sense. I think he's going to be top 10 in scoring. I don't think there's a question about that, really. So it makes sense that he goes this early when it comes to a points-only league. And now Braden Point goes. I love Braden Point there at that spot, round 2, pick 3. That seems like just the right amount of value for him in this type of league. I'm glad he didn't get auto-picked at 5 again. That would have sucked. But Braden Point at around there in a points-only makes a ton of sense. I'm actually surprised that Mikko Rantanen is still out there. I wonder if it has to do with some projections coming out. Yahoo actually projected Mikko Rantanen pretty low. So I wonder if that's having a little bit of an effect after people saw that. Tyler Seguin now goes. So Seguin goes. There's still a few players out there. So Mikko Rantanen is like the premier player left, really. You see Matthew Tkachuk up there, Jack Eichel, Gabriel Landeskog, Wheeler, Aho, Draisaitl, Larkin still out there. But the one sticking out to you is Mikko Rantanen. Now Leon Draisaitl goes. Okay, and remember again that it's very different because there's no positions. It's all just forward and defense. So because it's just forward and defense, you can take a little bit of liberties and not put yourself into a pickle positionally. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see about this one being turned into a podcast. It may not be. We're going to have to... There goes Mikko Rantanen now after Leon Draisaitl. Okay. So I guess Brandon's just going to have to talk... he's going to have to talk in other ways. I think Brandon said he wanted Draisaitl. I don't blame him. I would have liked... I hate that he got Rantanen. I actually think... I'm curious what everyone out there thinks, for the people that are watching. I wonder if they think that Draisaitl or Rantanen. I probably would have wanted Rantanen over Draisaitl. I think you can't go really wrong with either, but to me, Rantanen in this league feels like a pretty damn good grab. And the fact that he fell to Brandon makes me annoyed. So now Brandon has Rantanen and Ovechkin. Probably my favorite team so far. If you're looking at it, there's John Tavares and Gaudreau. I like that quite a bit too. But we'll see. If Z-Hawk, if you think I'm going to take... if you think I'm not going to take Andrei Svechnikov in this league second round, you are nuts, because I will. I mean, Rantanen's pace at the end, Jack Eichel goes, Aho, and then Eichel goes, okay. I was hoping Aho would fall to me, actually. I thought he might go off the board. Okay, Aho, and then Eichel, and then Erik Karlsson. Yep, there you go. Well done, Z-Hawk. I was surprised. I was hoping, just hoping, that Karlsson would get to me. Okay. Yeah, Brandon, that's kind of how Twitch works. You watch the person talking. Okay, now Mitch Marner goes after Erik Karlsson. Mitch Marner is starting to scare me, to be honest. His whole... Yeah, I don't know what to say about Mitch Marner, but he's starting to scare me in terms of just, is he going to play? I think it's reasonable to be afraid of the fact of, is he going to play or not? Okay, so now... Dylan Larkin went off the board, so I'm going to be up here. I am actually up. So what do I do? I'm disappointed that Jack Eichel didn't get to me, but I think that actually so I'm using my own rankings here on the side, and there's someone in particular that I really want to grab. I'm actually going to go, again, being points only. I think the guy with the highest upside is going to be Panarin here. The Rangers, I think he has a lot of upside. I think he's a little bit underranked here. And I don't think I'll get him on the next turn. So my first pick here, I'll go Artemi Panarin. I like the upside with him. He obviously had a great season last year. I think he's going to have a better team around him this year. So let me see what exactly I want to do here next. I'm surprised that Matthew Tkachuk is still on the board, kind of. But I think there's one other person who fell, who, again, I won't get on the turn. I think I could maybe not reach for him. Now, I think maybe the next best pick would be Wheeler, but the issue with Wheeler that I'm a little bit afraid of is genuinely, I think we talked about, we're releasing the Central episode tomorrow, but I'm a little afraid of Wheeler genuinely falling off because of the team around him. If the team around him... Yeah, I just don't like the team around him from a Corsi perspective, from an on-ice shooting perspective. All of that really, really scares me. So I'm actually going to reach a little bit from an ADP perspective. You can see his ADP is 44.9. I'm going to reach a little bit for Taylor Hall because I think there's a lot of talent around him. And if you look at it, him on his own produced really, really well. His pace was insane. And let's just say that he gets Jack Hughes on his line. I'd say that's an upgrade from Nico Hischier. And, of course, the power play got better with PK Subban coming in. So I think Taylor Hall has probably the highest upside out there. So I'm a big fan of that. And like I said, I think in a points-only league, especially when you're drafting first overall, you kind of got to go for upside. I'm really happy with that turn so far. So now I have Kucherov, Panarin, and Taylor Hall. Not bad. I'm surprised. I haven't looked at the Twitch comments yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon is completely killing me here. Oh, someone changed their picture just for me. Oh, look at that. I love it. Rogerson changed his profile picture just for me. Now if Team Gambo could change his name so that I don't get confused and think that's me. Wheeler goes right after me. That makes total sense. Again, Wheeler, I think, was the next best pick after Taylor Hall. But the issue with Wheeler, just for me, is that there is a chance there that his floor is maybe like 70 points. Insane, but just wait till you listen to the Central episode. Also, you guys are talking real fast here on Twitch. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Has back-to-back picks. Don't think I'll get him on the turn. You know exactly what I mean, sir. That is rude. Okay. So who's up next? So then Matthew Tkachuk goes right after. Okay. I like Matthew Tkachuk going there. I think Matthew Tkachuk was on my kind of sheet, kind of the next best. So if we look at kind of my draft kit here, the one that we built. So I didn't insert a league name, but here you go. Here's kind of the draft board that'll be there. Of course, put in the league settings. And here's kind of the rankings that I'm looking at. So from an ADP perspective, you see the Matt Tkachuk was out there. Still surprised Landeskog is there. But again, you see this is kind of going back to how I like to draft smart, right? When I say do it by ADP. You look at the ADP here, and he's at 21.8. The ranking that I have him in the sheet that I imported, he's 43rd. So he doesn't really justify this ADP for me right now. And then you're looking at kind of like someone like Jonathan Huberdeau does. John Carlson's ADP doesn't really. And so what you can do here is start to scroll with the ADP and get a sense of following along with the draft, and at a certain point in the draft getting the max amount of value. And for a points-only league as well, I am taking a look at our consistency score that we came up with and just kind of figuring out, okay, for example, John Carlson was ridiculously consistent. So at some point, I do want to touch John Carlson, but not just yet. No touching yet. And you look at a guy like Hedman as well, and he's not that far off from someone like John Carlson, even in rank. So there's quite a few out there. Okay, so then after that goes Claude Giroux, Vladimir Tarasenko, and then the guy I was talking about, John Carlson. So Mefnik take John Carlson and gets a guy who, quite frankly, is ridiculously consistent, and you can rely on points kind of night in and night out. And then Tkachuk speaks for himself. Claude Giroux kind of speaks for himself. Tarasenko, I think, is a little bit of a reach there, perhaps. Tarasenko, I think his ceiling isn't as high as it would seem, simply because Tarasenko's ceiling is limited by his ice time, and St. Louis likes to play a pretty balanced style of ice time. So that being said, Tarasenko's ceiling is restricted by what they can do. And now Vasilevsky goes. So that one's a little bit interesting, because when you look at a league like this, goalies are maybe a little bit bunched up to an extent. But really what you're looking at is how much can they actually provide in value to you. And so when you look at a guy like Andrei Vasilevsky, he's going to give you probably max like 150, 160 points. And there's a lot of guys out there that'll get you way more than Andrei Vasilevsky. So it feels a little bit early for a goalie in this situation. Not positive I'd do that personally, but also don't completely hate it. You get your goalie off the board. Okay. And that, of course, was Brandon. Breaking all... I don't know... Why did you take a goalie? Do you want to explain this? I mean, yeah, the rest bunch up, but that's very interesting. I didn't expect you to take a goalie in that situation. Okay, and you can see that the other thing too here is if you're in our Discord or not in our Discord as well. Just make sure to download or go in, and we have a tools channel now, so you can go in and actually download this new draft tools that I built out. So now it's not based on anybody's rankings. You actually go and buy a kit wherever the hell you like to buy kits, whoever is your favorite kind of provider. There's a bunch of them out there, and then you can even use like kind of the more obscure ones like Dom and whatnot, and then you go in and you just import the sheet. You import your stats into the specific column. So say your league counts goals, assists, and power play goals. You just kind of copy the name and then paste down the stats relevant to that player, and it'll automatically kind of fill out everything else and help you draft. But yeah, so we took a lot of the feedback that we heard from people and tweaked out how I built that so that it works kind of better for both people that are drafting and for the companies, and hopefully help out those people get some more subscriptions. So that's how it'll work. And like I think a lot of the people that listen to us get kits anyways, and so this is just a way to kind of make that kit a little bit more powerful for you during the draft. And a lot of people are kind of building on top of them anyways. Okay, so after Landeskog, Huberdeau goes, Gensel and Riley. I love the Huberdeau pick there. At pick 11, round 3, it feels like a steal, considering someone like Vasilevsky went, John Carlson went, Vladimir Tarasenko went. I would have liked him way up there, actually. And then Morgan Riley seems fine. I think with Riley... I probably wouldn't have taken Riley only because Where's Makar already has Brent Burns, and given that you already have defense, I don't know if I feel like stacking defense this early is good when you already have the best defenseman, given that forwards have much higher ceilings in this league, given the point structure. Okay. Okay, and then Elias Pettersson goes and Mark Stone. Kind of somewhat, I guess, predictable picks. I like the Elias Pettersson pick. A lot of upside there. There is quite a bit of risk, but good upside. And this team is already pretty good in terms of John Tavares, Johnny Gaudreau, and Jonathan Huberdeau. Mark Stone, I like a lot. Again, I think that the only issue with Mark Stone, and not that I wouldn't take him here, but if Kenny Malkin this slate is now that is a steal, my friends. Of course, the issue there is how many games he's going to play, but just from a net points perspective, Malkin crushes it. You can't do anything. I love that. Patrice Bergeron goes now. Makes sense. So I think we might see centers start to go here. So we saw Pettersson go, we saw Malkin go. Now we've seen Bergeron go. Could see a little bit of a round here in terms of centers. And Brandon took Bergeron. Not surprised by that. Brandon loves Bergeron. He loves his old men too. And yeah, someone else said in here actually in the comments that they're staying away from the Jets as well. And yeah, 100% agree. It's just too risky for me right now. And look, what's his face? Line A isn't even signed. And without Line A, that power play truly... Line A isn't great, but on the power play at least, people will decline if Line A isn't signed early enough. And it seems like all the RFAs are waiting on someone to make a move, which isn't good for any of us. Okay. And now Radulov goes. Okay, I can get behind Radulov. And then now, wow, Fleury goes. So, I guess Fleury. That one's surprising to me. I don't think he's the best goaltender on the board, given that we only count wins. I guess if you think that, and then Anderson goes. That's who I think I was going to say is the next best goalie on the board. Then Timo Meier goes. I think that's a little early for Meier in a points-only league. He's obviously a banger, but I'd say his floor is scary enough that I wouldn't take him here. I think there's kind of better options from a points perspective that are left. There's one in particular that I'm really eyeing that I really want, and he might just get to me. We'll have to see. I think he did get to me. So here at this point, I want someone who I think is being underappreciated at this point, and who should be good for quite a few points and has a good ceiling. If there's an injury or something, and that's Evgeny Kuznetsov. He's probably going to be top power play. He pretty much was the whole time, and then if he gets that top line with Ovi, it's obviously a steal. Okay, so now there's a little bit of a question mark. I think I'm going to go... I want to go... There's two options here. I think that there's two guys left that I really like that are under-projected, and I could maybe get later, but again, like I said, and Brandon hates on the turn. After this turn, I mean. Like, on my next pick, I don't think he'll get to me. So I'm between two guys. I'm between Kessel, and I'm between Couturier. I think Kessel has a higher ceiling, and he's kind of more of a sniper than Couturier. So I don't trust Kessel more, but I like the ceiling on Kessel more. And unlike Brandon, I don't want to build or last. Oh, Kessel went. I missed that. Well done. Well done. So we're going to go Couturier. I missed that. That's my bad. So I like Couturier. Thank you. Kessel is gone. I am a fool. I didn't even see that. That was right after Meier. See, that's what happens. And then Martin Jones goes. I like the Martin Jones pick. That's probably one of the smartest picks out here, given just how many wins he's going to get. I mean, he wasn't really that far off from the best of the best last year. Imagine if last week is when Martin Jones was good. Sergei Bobrovsky goes right after that, so we're seeing goalies go off the board. That's fine with me. I kind of figured that's exactly what would happen. I didn't really want any part of it, though. I think all the money here is in the skaters. At this point, at least. I think Martin Jones maybe would have been the only one that I would have considered, but it just doesn't make sense to me. It's not worth it. Bobrovsky goes, and then Line A. I love the Line A pick this late, especially given that he's just kind of a goal scorer. If he even kind of turns it around, you have a massive, massive player there. Yeah, I love this. I love that Seahawk. That was a great pick. taking Patrick Laine that late is a great one. Okay. And then Chris Letang goes, I mean, 40 chess must be playing some serious 40 chess to take Letang there. But hey, we'll see what happens. Brandon would have just ripped me if he were on the podcast for saying that. Well, but I had to make the joke. Had to make the 40 chess joke. Okay, now Mefnik is on the clock. So who's out there that I like a lot? Let's see who's the next best. So this is what's surprising to me is from a goalie perspective, I feel like there's still a goalie I really want. I might be able. I don't think I'll get him on the next turn. Monahan is a great pick. I mean, you're talking a guy who went over point per game last year. Yeah. Especially with no center issues here, Monahan's a great pick. Where's my cat? I need my cat to come make some auto picks for me. Jamie Benn goes. I mean, I don't know how I feel about Ben. There's a lot of upside. I knew Brandon would take him. I'm not surprised that he went for Jamie Benn. It just feels so high risk, low reward sort of thing. Like, what's his ceiling? Probably. What is his ceiling nowadays? Like 75? Yeah. I mean, that's not awful. Obviously, that's Jamie Benn numbers. I don't know. I don't know if I like Jamie Benn. The floor is just too low for me. There's one specific guy I really want that is still out there from just if he can actually figure it out from a goal scoring perspective. That'd be nice. Yet again. And then Klingberg goes. I like the Klingberg pick there. I mean, one of the best offensive defensemen left on the board. I have a few defensemen I want to take gambles on here. So Brandon says everyone is overreacting to Jamie Benn. I highly disagree. I think especially with more offense, I think the offense will be spread out a little bit more, which isn't necessarily a net positive. Sure, the team around him got better, but it doesn't necessarily mean he gets exposed to more points. Okay, and Nicholas Backstrom goes after that. That's a good pick. Backstrom, again, is just one of those guys that always seems to kind of go a little bit under the radar. I'm actually curious to see what I had him ranked at. So I had him ranked at 45th in my sheet. And he was 48th with these points last year. So that's a pretty good pick for around the 60th pick? Yeah, around the 60th pick in the draft almost. Ryan O'Reilly went. I was hoping and praying that Ryan O'Reilly got to me. Oh, well. I'll survive. Also, I saw that someone was looking around. Left Wing Legal looks around. Hello, Left Wing Legal, if you're still here. Welcome to the chat. Jonathan Toews goes after that. Great pick. I like Jonathan Toews. Mika Zibanejad is a great pick this late. That's a great one considering how much upside he has. Mika Zibanejad goes, and then Anze Kopitar goes. I like Anze Kopitar this late. Again, just kind of good upside guy. Although you know it's weird. I like Kopi, but I don't like Ben for whatever reason. I feel like I should like Ben if I like Kopi here. So I guess maybe I'm a little bit off here. Okay, so Zibanejad goes, and then Kopitar. I like those two picks a lot, back to back. Zibanejad, honestly, who knows what Zibanejad's ceiling is at this point? He's so good, and I feel like we haven't even seen the best of him yet. And now he gets Artemi Panarin and Kakko on his line, most likely at least. Who knows what the hell he's going to do this year? I'm curious. Ben is the number one bounce back candidate from... I mean, I wouldn't call Ben the number one bounce back candidate personally. I think this is another year of kind of disappointing results. Even though the year before was 79, we've kind of seen this decrease in play from him. I agree that he's being labeled as the number one kind of bounce back candidate. I don't know if I actually believe it. Gotta see it to believe it. Dumba getting 54-point projection. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with you, Z-Hawk. I think the issue is the team around him as well. There's not many power play points to go around, most likely. It's probably going to be a 2D power play. I bet you they run. I wouldn't be surprised if they run 2D power play there. Yeah, and the team around him is just not great. Zuccarello should help a little bit. We'll see. Did you really? So, did Jamie Benn tell you what he's going to do? I remember Brandon had a great story once. He might get mad. I don't think he'll get mad at me for saying this, but he knew somebody who knew Corey Schneider and was in a league with Corey Schneider. And the story was that Corey Schneider always needed to take himself first overall. And the year that we found that story out was the year that Corey Schneider was just an absolute dumpster fire in every way possible. And so we made fun of Corey Schneider a lot that year because it was like, oh, imagine what Corey Schneider's going through right now with him on his team, which is pretty hilarious. Hellebuck going this late is really... I mean, Hellebuck actually is not that surprising, given Barzal is a great one. There's a lot of upside there. I think people are way too low on Matthew Barzal this year. I think people are... I've seen all these bad takes of under Trotz, good players don't do well, and yet some of Ovi's best offensive seasons were under Trotz. It's because of the way Trotz deploys his lines. There's one line or people that get just unbelievable amounts of offensive zone starts. And so that is going to be and was last year Barzal. I think he just needs time to adapt, and it's only his second year in the league. You take a guy who did well and lost Tavares, had to be the guy, second year in the league, and has to adapt. That's a tough ask, and he still did pretty well. So I think people are just way too low on Barzal for what he can do. I think the ceiling is really, really there for him. Giordano going. Okay. And I love the Arvidsson pick. Damn it. I was hoping Arvidsson would get to me. That was my next pick. Of course, he was way too inflated in shooting percentage last year. And of course, I'm not surprised that Brandon's the one that took Barzal. Makes total. Brandon says he's positive. Of course, Brandon can get Brandon can give these hot takes when he's not on the podcast, saying that he's going to get 90 plus. Okay, Victor Arvidsson Skinner is a great pick given how many points he gets from goals. I love, love, love the Jeff Skinner pick. And then Krug goes. I like the Krug pick as well. Max Domi. It makes sense that Domi finally goes. He fell pretty far, actually, for where he was ranked. Okay, now I'm on the board. Let's see. Let's take a look at my rankings here and see who's still out there. So I did like Domi. There's a few people I actually like more, I think. So I think this guy a little too faded for my own liking, given that he's in bangers leagues, I think he gets faded, and a lot of guys just don't get talked about because especially on podcasts, I think you have to talk about all the stats as a whole, and you sometimes fade people a little too hard. And I don't know why, but I'm afraid of the Jets, but I feel like Kyle Connor is getting faded a little bit too far in a lot of these leagues. And I'm getting him right at value from what ESPN ranked him. I have him on my sheet ranked quite a bit higher than that. I have him at 45th. So to me, it's a steal at 70. If, of course, the sheet ends up being right, which isn't always the case. Kyle Connor was 52nd last year. So I'll take it. And now I'm going to take kind of a high ceiling, good floor guy in Elias Lindholm. He's going to be a bench, so I am fading D a little bit. And it's just because when I take a look at the D that's out there right now for me, there's a few that I like. There's a lot that are going to be in kind of the 90 range, which is where my next pick is. And to me, I'm fine getting pretty much any of those guys. And Lindholm had a great season last year. He was 34th in this league last year. He's projected for around 65th. My sheet has him at 56. Either way, they feel good. And I like that one. My other option was going to be Philip Forsberg, but he had a terrible season last year, so I'm a little afraid on him. But I like both of those picks. Yeah, I agree with Connor. If they try that, if they try the top line thing again, I'm a little bit afraid. And it's okay if you take the D. I have a lot of D lined up that I like, so take as many of my D as you want. I think I'll make it out okay, unless my cat comes over here and doesn't pick a defenseman for me. Then I could be in trouble actually. Keith Yandel. Oh wait, Yandel. I don't know why I saw Florida and I immediately thought of Ekblad. Okay. No need to freak out there. And then Philip Forsberg goes. I feel like I did that to myself. There you go. Enjoy Forsberg, Team Sweden. Makes sense that Forsberg went to Team Sweden, actually. Now I just feel like that's actually a good thing. Although you probably had him lined up. People in here are smart. We have how many? We have 13 people listening today. Not bad. I'm going to shatter your entire mind place with my next pick. God. I kind of want to figure out who you're going to go with. And you're going to go with Svechnikov probably and just... No, I think I know who you're going to go with. I have a feeling I know. We'll see. Z-Hawk is up right now. He said he's going to steal one of my defensemen. We'll see. He takes PK Subban. I like that pick. Safe pick. Safe pick. I like it. Not exactly any of the people I was eyeing, actually, but that's a good pick. I don't think I had him on my radar as much. There's actually one guy that's still on the board that I like a lot. There's a few guys I like a lot. Some of them I think are getting rated a little too high on because of last year, I think. Also, just completely shockingly, I'm shocked by this, but the fact that I don't want to say it, but I can't believe Ben Bishop is still out there. I can't believe he's still out there. I know I've talked bad on Ben Bishop, and I have quite the rant on him in the Central episode that's coming out, but I'm surprised he's still out there. Also, I think that for whatever reason, Ben Bishop is the most overrated, but everyone kind of accepts he's overrated sort of stuff. So he's not really going overrated, which is weird. I mean, Ben Bishop is still projected for quite a few points here. I'm shocked. I think Brandon's going to go with Evander Kane. He's going to go with his boy. But I don't know, because that wouldn't... Let's see. Brandon wants me to guess who his next pick is going to be. So Joe Pavelski goes. Now Brandon's on the clock. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Marchessault, because he likes those safe players, and for whatever reason, he always ends up with Marchessault. He could also go Trocheck and kind of go a little bit off the board, although he may also be saving him for later. Let's see. He could... I like Darlene. That's who I was going to go. That was one of my defensemen. Okay, fine. You stole one of my defensemen. Damn it. I'm going to be left with no defenseman again. That's just going to be my strategy this year, actually, I think. I'm just going to go no defenseman. Bishop does have a good backup, but in terms of... I don't really put too much attention to backups, honestly. I try to just look at what people or places project with games started and go off of that. I usually assume that if I'm using a kit or some kind of projections, usually they take into account how good that backup is and how many times the backup will start. So I don't put too much emphasis on someone having a good backup, if that makes sense, personally. Tyson Barrie goes. I still think Tyson Barrie is just going way too high in these leagues. I mean, I get that. Yes, he's on Toronto, probably going to be top pairing on even strength, probably going to be second power play. But I just don't see it. I don't see where the points are coming from for him, or at least like the ceiling of points. I don't think he's worth his ceiling. Quite frankly, like right now, if I'm looking at Tyson Barrie, like I think there's a lot more defense out there. I think Bufflin is better. I think Dumba is a better option. I think Yossi is a better option. And this isn't just the thing of this draft specifically. I think it's almost in every single draft we've seen kind of a situation of Tyson Barrie going pretty early, and I feel like it's just a Toronto thing. People want to touch the things that are good, and we've talked about that on the podcast before, where people just like touching good teams, and they forget about the bad teams. And that tends to happen quite a bit. And I think Tyson Barrie is being affected by the I want to touch nice things situation. Nice is what I call it on the podcast. Gustafsson is a good one. I think especially when you look at the people still on the board from a defenseman perspective, you have good value there. You know, it's so hard to look at defense now and say there's just not many defense that'll get you a lot of points at this stage. Braden Holtby goes. I like that. I think I am worried about his drop starting. Not so much. He hasn't been good in the regular season for a hot minute here, it seems, and I may actually be wrong in that. And you know what? I'm actually gonna check myself on that. But I'm pretty sure regular season Holtby has not been good for a hot minute here. Then Matt Murray goes. I like that pick. A good upside in terms of wins. Let's look at this. Let's look this up. We're going to go to Hockey Reference here. Braden Holtby. Okay, so let's look at these last few. So, yeah, I mean, the past 2 seasons have not been great, which is interesting because he had quite the fall off. He was a 9.25 this season here. Then a 9.07, then 9.11. He has not been good at even strength, or at regular season. Minus 8.36 goals saved above average, and then just a 1.79 last year. I mean, those are stats that you're going to lose starts, which he has, 54, 59. And last year he didn't lose starts because he just didn't have the backup to help him out, and he still only got 59. I mean, if Samsonov could do anything better than, I forget who even was their backup last year, but if he can do even a little bit better, I think we may see kind of Holtby starts kind of be more in that 54 range that was the year before. Not saying that pick is bad, but that's just something for overall with him that I'm seeing. Teuvo, damn it, I want Teuvo to fall to me too, even though I already have a full forward roster. And then Hoffman goes. Hoffman is a fantastic pick this late too, given how many goals he scores. That's a great pick. Yeah, that's kind of the thing with points-only leagues, really. Points-only leagues are like that. I think they're made, and not in a bad way. I think they're just made for a much more casual audience. It's much easier to pick. It's much easier to find projections out there for. It's much easier to find information on points-wise. But it's very much a it really comes down to just how you compose your team. And I think that if I were doing this for real, like for real money, one thing I'd add to my sheet for me to use is kind of where my points are coming from. So you Brandon distracted me. Are my points coming from goals or assists? And I'd probably want that to be about a 50-50 split or a little bit more geared towards assists, just so that you have a safer net in points. Because if you're leaning too much on goals, you're playing a risky game there. So I think that's the thing with this. You can be smart about it. It is very boom or bust, but I think you do control how boom or bust you are. And I think that's the big thing, is how much risk do you take on versus how much ceiling do you go for. And that's the strategy. I think I think those are the 3 strategies, and it's similar almost to Dynasty in a way, even though it's not, is you can go very safe, you can go very middle of the pack, or you can go very risky. And I think a lot of that too you can decide as you go through the draft. So Rene goes, followed by Jacob Voracek. Voracek is a fantastic pick this late. Everyone I was hoping would fall to me is not falling to me, and it's very disappointing. Damn. Okay. So now I gotta start to look at where I'm gonna go. I mean, there's one pick that's feels very obvious from a just a ceiling standpoint and what he can do. And then Brock Besser goes. I like that. He has a high ceiling in my opinion. Very high ceiling. Looking at this, and it's tough. It's getting tough. Vincent Trocheck went too. Ugh. All the guys I wanted. Putting me in a tough spot here. Okay, well, my next pick. Okay, so now it's my pick. Let's pull up my sheet here so you guys can kind of see my decision making, I guess. And Brandon may mock my decision making here. So here's the draft board. Let's make sure I also know how much time I have on the clock. 48 seconds. Okay, so let's look at the player rankings. So I kind of want to go defense. So you can see that Dumba. Okay, this is clearly broken from something last year. Dumba, for whatever reason, has 357 points last year. not a thing. Oh, sorry, that's overall rank, not that. I'm an idiot. Okay, so we've got Evander Kane is the best option, really. But it's tough. It is tough, man. It's tough to justify defense at this stage. Man, oh man. And you see, like Clayton Keller last year, he was 139. He's 75 this year. Whew. I think I'm gonna go here. Chabot first. I need a defense. I'm gonna reach for Chabot here. It's quite the reach, but I think it's worth it given the defense that's out there. Yeah, given the defense situation, I just like this right here. 106, 116 falls in the wheelhouse of what this projection is, and I think has a pretty good ceiling if they can kind of figure some stuff out. And it's really Mantha is staring me in the face right here with this 114 and 65 rank. That's tough to pass up. But I think I'm just gonna go here. I want to get a second defense, and look, Dumba is scary. I agree with everyone. But it's hard at this point when I have no defense. I'll take kind of a good floor. I think Dumba is scary from a ceiling perspective. He doesn't have he doesn't have that much of a ceiling, but he has a pretty good floor. So I'm taking Dumba as well and going back-to-back defense. You can have Mantha. I hate that I didn't get him, but whatever. So Brandon says that Chabot isn't a reach. I don't know. I mean, depends on rankings and points wise. Like from a points perspective, here the logical thing would be to go. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that music, but someone is bumping out there. Not doing this in order, but that's okay. Let's pull this off and go to the ESPN draft again. Okay, and then Drew Doughty goes right after. That's also who I was eyeing. I had to choose between who do I hate more, in Drew Doughty or Matt Dumba, and I hated Doughty more. As far as like the ceiling goes, Dumba I think has a higher ceiling than Doughty does. Simple as that. So surprisingly, I'm gonna give a good little fun surprise on this next pick. I think, perhaps we'll see if he gets to me. Yeah, defense is getting scarce. My defense is not going to be great, but I think I'll make it out okay. And then Mantha goes to Team Sweden. That's a great pick. Mantha is a fantastic pick at this point. Let's check out our Twitter. Hello, Analyst Elite League, and everyone else liking our stuff. You can see my face changing when the screen changes. Man. A lot of people getting sniped here. I like it. And then Dustin Bufflin goes. Yeah, I was thinking about Bufflin. Okay, actually, I'm going to be completely honest. I thought Bufflin was taken. I would have taken Bufflin. So that hurts a little bit because I didn't notice that he was there. Damn it. Oliver Ekman-Larsson is a fantastic ceiling grab. I think my one fear there would maybe be his floor isn't as great as I'd like in a points-only league, but I like it. So, like, we're taking a look here. Brandon's team is Alex Ovechkin, Mikko Rantanen, Andrei Vasilevsky, Patrice Bergeron, Jamie Benn. I hope Brandon just got sniped of Evander Kane, too. That would make me so happy. He couldn't have not been eyeing Vandy, and then he takes Dadonov. He wanted Daddy. Okay. I'm curious where Dadonov actually ended up last year. Do they have that in here? They do. Where's Dadonov? Let's see. What was his rank? Let's show drafted players here. Where was Dadonov? Do you have to click on a player? Okay. Last year he was 163rd. That, sir, was a reach. Congratulations. Oh, that's this year. Damn it. Okay, never. Oh, no, look at that. He's projected for 163. Last year he got 168. So I'm sorry, sir, but that was a reach. Your intuition has failed you. Dylan Strome goes after. I like Matt Duchesne there. Team Gambo. Similar last names. See eye to eye. I just like getting Brandon worked up. He is angry in the chat. It's very, very angry. And then Seth Jones goes. I like Seth Jones there. Seth Jones feels like one of those guys with a very good floor, just the lowest of ceilings, because The power play in Columbus is awful. Yeah, that power play is so bad there. Shea Weber is a great grab. Well done, Mucky. I think he has a pretty good ceiling there. He's the guy. Aside from Petrie just going off like he did last year. So we're right now at what, like the 100? Yeah, my pick is gonna be 120. So that's kind of what I'm eyeing here. Can I get somebody? Can I get somebody in that range there? Yeah, not a defense. I'll tell you that much. The defense are getting bad, getting real bad. Jack Hughes, I like that grab. There's a lot of question marks here. We're getting deep. We're getting deep into the. I'm also screwed in goaltending, by the way, just in case anyone was wondering there. Definitely screwed in goaltending. That's okay. I'll survive. Nino Niederreiter. Good pick. I feel like he's flying under the radar this year too. Even though he's on Carolina, I think there is a question mark of who gets top team or top line. Damn it, Kako! I wanted Kako. That one sucks. At least I got Panarin, I guess. Nylander's a great pick. He should have a much better year than last year. I think he's going way too low, especially with the acquisition of Barrie. They'll probably both be second power play, and I mean Barrie's going too high. I think Nylander's going too low. Reinhart, fine. Big question mark on what happens on the top line. Darnell Nurse, good pick. I think this early, again, Darnell Nurse for me, I'm staying away this early until I know more of who's getting top power play. If Darnell Nurse, if there's no news yet as to who's getting top power play, I am not touching Darnell Nurse at all. Don't really care for it. Okay, then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goes. Good pick. The only thing with the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for me, just to remember in general, not so much for this draft, but they are most likely going to be making him and James Neal a pair. That's at least what they've said so far. So that you're probably looking at Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as second-line center, which could be an issue. Yeah, RNH is definitely a massive, massive boomer bust in this situation. Yeah, I'm curious. I genuinely wonder if this is one of those leagues or a situation where like you can fade defensemen pretty hard in terms of would it be insane to only run 3D total? It might be just because in this league, the way I have it set up, this specific one, there's positional restrictions. So like a certain slot can only get X amount of games played because it's over a whole season because it's points only. So that would be great. Okay, and then Clayton Keller goes. Good pick. Clayton Keller is going way too late, man. Way too late. I'm so mad that Kako got sniped. Damn it. I wanted Kako. This is good value, too. Damn. Yeah, it's like, you see, the thing here is, like, from a strategic standpoint, I should go defense. But the issue is that I don't think there's a single defenseman that I can justify actually going for here. Every single one would be just a stupid, stupid reach. And I might as well just go defenseman until the very end. There's just no reason. I mean, there actually is one. I found one. There is one. Okay, I'll reach for this one. Okay. There might be two. One of them I can get really, really late. The other one I don't think will get to me. Thinking out loud kind of here. Okay, I know which one I'm going with one of them. It's just the other position that I need to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. Okay, so the first one, I want to get goals here. So I'm going to go Anders Lee. Feels up. Damn it, he went already. Why is he on my list? Oh, did he just go? He just went. I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at my list. You guys are good. You guys are very good. Damn you all. Damn you all to hell. Okay, so look, I'm going to line up while I look around at what I'm going to do next, Gossesbear is, of course, kind of the next person I'm going to really reach for here. But from a defenseman ceiling standpoint, he is probably the highest I'm going to get and the only one worth reaching for at this point. My sheet has him at 130th rank by end of year. So that would actually put it right in the wheelhouse of this being a good pick for me, value-wise. And then I don't know what I'm going to do for my next one. I maybe would have reached for Pietrangelo. I have him 160 though, so again, it's just kind of one of those guys that I don't think the ADP justifies it. There's actually a really surprising one here. So I'm gonna go Ryan Johansson. Before you laugh me out of the room, he's actually gone 72nd rank. He was 72nd rank last year, and the sheet I'm using, he's ranked 72nd again this year. The same thing. And I like him for that same kind of number. And if he actually lives up to that rank, and he's a pretty consistent player year to year, just from a points perspective, and if they get even a little bit better on the power play, that's good for him. So I'm going Ryan Johansson. 2 just very high ceiling guys this late. Yeah. Man, I'm mad that I got sniped Anders Lee too. I didn't even see that one. That one hurt. Brandon will definitely take Gibson still. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I like Athanasiou too, actually. Athanasiou is an interesting kind of guy I looked at too. Just, the way I'm drafting right now at this point, this is how I do all my drafts, even in Cats Leagues, really, is I kind of look at ADP, where they're going, and try to justify reaching based on their projected end rank. And then what that allows me to do, at least, is I just feel like that's the smartest way to draft. If at the end of the day, it doesn't end as well for me, I can know that I at least did the smartest thing at the time of the draft. Sometimes I won't listen to it, and I'll say, I like this guy a little bit more than they're even projecting him, or something like that, and I'll reach. But for the most part, I usually try to stick to kind of the projections that I've got and trust my instinct on that regard. And I haven't looked at the comments, but Brandon's probably going to say something there about how that's exactly why I always lose. But you know what? When my team always gets injured and I always get screwed by like 2 categories, there's not much I can do about that. No sheet is going to help you with that. Raquel going this late is great. Whew. I love Raquel. I mean, I really liked the Athanasiou pick. Ehlers, sure, I guess. Love the Raquel pick. That one feels awesome to me. I don't think I have him ranked that high, but I think it's because everyone is really low on Anaheim. But if you believe in the upside, then that's a great pick. And that's kind of one of the things a lot of times with these sheets is like you're looking at them and you've got to use your judgment. Do you trust their upside or do you not? And also how much upside do you put on it? Because you do have to factor that into the rankings, right? Like, do you see them higher? I don't see Johansson as like a higher than 70 ranked guy in this league. And that's fine for me. He's just a low floor guy that I probably won't drop at any point. And he's consistent, and that's about it. I'm actually curious now. What is Johansson's like consistency rating? He has a B. That's fine. Yeah, he's a solid B in terms of the score that I gave him. That's good. Grubauer is a great pick this late too. I don't have a goalie, do I? I don't. Wow. Rest in peace. Goodbye goaltending. Who needs that? I mean, someone did ask the other day if fading goalies is a viable strategy. I'm not going to say no, but I'm also not quite happy with where I'm at this moment for goaltenders. I kind of wish, actually, looking back at the draft, can I look at my pick history? Where am I? I kind of wish at one of these points I would have taken a goaltender. Maybe this Couturier round. Maybe instead of Kyle Connor. I mean, I'm happy with how my team's playing out so far, but yeah. Nico Hischier, I like that quite a bit. Oh yeah, you can see my cat. He has this little his little tower thing, and he lays in it. Yep, he's not making picks. I threw him in his little basket and said, "You gotta stay in there today." So he's listening. Oh, he's looking at you. Oh, he knows I'm talking about him. Oh, he's definitely coming over here to make an auto pick later. Gotta be careful with what I say. Nico Hischier there is good. I think the problem with Hischier is, and I've said this a lot of times before, and I'll say this on the Metro podcast, is Hischier to me is a very scary pick, just in general. Not Not that there's not a place you should take him, but he's in general a very damn you, Brandon. Gallagher is a great pick there. You hack. Heeshear could be taken. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Heeshear takes over, or Heeshear gets taken over in like every regard, from top power play to top line by like middle of the season by Hughes. Of course, the other possibility is very real too, that Hughes struggles, mostly because of his size. But if he doesn't, Heeshear's in for a hell of a time fantasy-wise. Okay, so Brandon got the Gallagher pick, and then Dougie Hamilton goes. That's a good pick. And then Miro Heiskanen. Heiskanen is a good ceiling guy, but in a points league, the issue with him is he's just one of those guys that I love Braden Shen there. Oh, yeah. That's a great pick. That's who I was thinking of taking there on my turn instead of Johansson. I just like the consistency of Johansson a lot better. Bennington is a great pick. I was kind of hoping he'd get to me. I didn't think he would. I was very, very low. I was almost positive he wouldn't. But I like Bennington there. Probably one of the favorites to get the most starts, some of the most wins this year at least. I don't think he repeats his save percentage and goals against average. I'm actually surprised, because in all the mocks we've done so far, I'm shocked that I actually think Bennington's going too low. I was fairly positive Bennington would go too high, yet in every mock we've done, I'm going to be curious, because either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow or Monday, I want to do some mocks on Yahoo on Twitch with like some random people and also some people from Discord and stuff, and see what happens in those. But so far in our mocks, at least, Jordan Bennington's gone way too low. Like I'm surprised by how faded he's going. I don't know how much that effect is us saying to fade Jordan Bennington, and so he keeps getting faded, but that's okay. I love that there's that's amazing that there's an emoji that looks just like him. Hannibal. Does he know his name? He's too tired. No, he's sleepy. William Karlsson. That's good. I like William Karlsson. He was probably the third pick. I was looking at Johansson, Braden Shen, and then William Karlsson for that next one. At this point, yeah, I'm gonna need to go. No! There goes my baby. I'm gonna miss you, Carter Hart. I was hoping. I've gotten him in I think almost every draft. That hurts. I knew I should have taken him before. There goes Quinton. I was wondering when Quinton would go. Theodore is great. Theodore may be the most faded player so far that I've seen in almost all these drafts so far. Martin Jones is the other one that I've seen, obviously. In this one, obviously, he didn't, because he, has also Rask there. I mean, Rask doesn't play many games. Quinton is a great pick there. Theodore is getting faded way too hard. He's gone really late, probably around like 12th round in almost every draft we've done. I would imagine that corrects by the end. Yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Also, Denver, don't say anything, please, because I'm trying to put attention away from him and so that he can get to me. I wonder, actually, let me look at my goalie rankings here. I'm curious now where I have Bishop. So Tuukka Rask went. I actually have. Okay, I'll say this after. I'm not gonna. There he goes. Damn it. Ah! I knew it. Okay, let's go back to this. So I actually have Bishop ranked. That's my dog. So I have Bishop ranked 12th. He's tied for 12th with, shockingly, Cam Talbot. That's just because the site I'm using Dauber's rankings here. That the kit that we paid for Dauber, I put that into the sheet. Like I imported those numbers, and so they have Talbot ranked pretty high, higher than I've seen on other sites. They have him pretty much winning the starting role, which makes sense. So I have Talbot, Bishop, and Rask, and Murray all tied for 12th overall in terms of goalie rankings. And there's still there's actually 2 goalies that are still out there that I really want. One with a ton of upside. Damn it, Mefnik, you hack. Ah! Again, I hate needing to scream, but come on. You know what? I'm probably just like, I'm not going to take goalies anymore. I'm just going to fade goalies completely. Why do you need them? Man, I'm in trouble here. There's one more goalie I want, and I've ended up with him. I mean, if you've watched any of the mock drafts, which I think a lot of you that are on here have, there's one goalie I have gotten, I think, in every single draft, and I'm going to end up getting him in this one, too. I'm fairly positive, unless someone snipes. So there goes Makar. Thank you, 40 chess, so that I didn't have to take him, because I would have happily taken Cale Makar. Man, I really wanted Dubnyk. Dubnyk was actually ranked 11th by my stats. And so what I would actually do, if you're someone who's in a ton of leagues, what I'd use this sheet for actually is I would, if you're in a ton of leagues for money or you play like pro leagues or something, I'd probably put in 2 like different kits. Like I'd probably buy Doms, which is cheap. I'd buy Daubers. I'd buy maybe that other site that I can't use anymore. I'd buy, I don't know, some of those. Maybe try to get like some Scott Cullen action in there, stuff like that. And then after getting all of that, kind of put those in and use the different sheets and like compare them, because in here you can compare them if you import all the stuff right. And that's probably how I'll end up doing my draft come season start. Like I'll use DOMs and compare them to kind of what I already have. Okay, I'm up here. So speaking of how I'm supposed to be paying attention here to the draft, so look, I need a goalie. This is 100%. God, I need 2 goalies. I just... God damn it. It's not great here. This is not a great look for the kid, but it's okay. We'll survive. I actually really want to check, though, how many points they project him to actually get in total. Okay, I can live with that. So I'm going to go 2 goalies here. I'm going to go Markstrom. I've gotten him, I swear, every single mock draft that we've done so far. And I still think he's getting faded way too hard. Yeah, there you go. Denver knew exactly. Denver knew exactly what I was doing here. I was definitely going to go Markstrom. There's actually one other person available, and I don't... There's another person I actually really, really like. The problem is I don't know if I want to take him here. And the problem is I'm also running out of time, and I haven't looked at any other players, so I don't know if I really have another option. Man, this is tough. If I can't find who I want here... Yeah, you know... Is Zucker taken? He's not. I'm going to go Zucker, just because I like the goals and assist ratio here. Almost fills out my bench. And this is mostly just because I have a plan. I think. I have a goalie plan. There's one goalie I really... Okay. It's not necessarily that there's one goalie I really want. It's just that the goalie that I want and then the goalies that will most likely still be there when I need him are pretty similar, so it doesn't really matter to me if I get that guy that I want or if I get one of the other guys. Like, it's really not that different. Zucker's not that bad. Zucker's fine. Yeah, I think Markstrom will be fine. I like Markstrom, and Zucker did not feel bad. You're a liar. I like Zucker. On my sheet actually, I'll tell you right now what he's projected for, and this is why I took him. I don't know if he's the best yet available. He was 144th last year. Not very consistent, which I don't like. But he's ranked 89th for this year on my sheet, at least. So, look, it's a risk. I love the Gusev pick. Oh, I wish I would have seen him. I completely forgot about him. See, this is sometimes why relying on a sheet is a little bit bad. You just kind of get locked into this numbers mode. And it's also hard, I think, to narrate or whatever the hell I'm doing and try to pick at the same time. James Van Riemsdyk, I really like. I think there's a lot of upside there. They got better, I believe, and especially with Kevin Hayes on that second line now. Gusev is good. I looked at Falk Falk was who I debated between. But, I have Falk rated like 200 something from a rank perspective. And again, maybe, you don't want to get too locked into rank, but if you look at like the rank of the defensemen left, I'd rather fill out my bench, to be honest. It's like the defenders are just so bad. Yeah, there goes Gibson. There goes Gibson. Damn you for taking Quick, you piece of shit. I knew you were going to take him. I knew I couldn't let him fall to you. Man, that one hurts. Yep, that one hurts. So do you want to explain your reasoning? I'll read for Brandon here. What's your reasoning for Quick over Gibson? I know you love Gibson, but I feel like this year at least, I feel like the Ducks are poised for more wins than the Kings. I don't see the Kings making up what they lost. Like, they didn't get better. I guess starts, sure. Yeah, Quick starts 60 plus, but then he loses what? Miller can steal starts from Gibson. It's not Miller. So the thing with Miller is actually that the Ducks have quite a bit back-to-backs. So Gibson will at least lose, I think 16 it is. So Gibson will start at max 66. And then if you take into account maybe like, a few rest days or something like that, you're looking at probably like 60 for Gibson. And he does have a little bit of a history with injuries, I believe. Let's look this up. Here's Hockey Reference. Let's look this up. How many games he started? So I just don't speak out of tongue here. So he started 58 and 60. So I say, 60 seems like a right number here for Gibson. And there's 16 back-to-backs, if I remember correctly, and this was with 58 with injuries. So, yeah, I think the ceiling for him in starts is probably like 62-ish. And I'd say he's more at around like the 60 range. Okay, and then Risto goes. Man, Risto going the slate feels really, really good. Colin White. What? Why is Colin White getting drafted? Is there something about Colin White that I'm not paying attention to here? How many points did he get last year in this league? Unless like it's just an upside thing, I guess. He got 96 points last year. It's not terrible, I guess, at this point. Also not great. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the Colin White pick. It's just me though. Chris Kreider, that's a good one. Of course, there's the fear that he gets traded, but that's okay. Granlund is a good one, except for the fact that I think he's going to be pretty sheltered on whatever line he's on for Nashville. Provorov is a good upside pick. Jeff Petrie, that's okay. I don't want Jeff Petrie. I mean, I'm speaking as though like there's defensemen out there to pick from, which there really is not. And then there's Ronek. Ronek is a good one. He has a good shot, and of course it's Brandon who gets him. Can you guys not let Brandon get these steals? At least like let him fall to me, please. So the thing with Quick is that Quick is injured a lot, but the thing is that he's not as bad as it seems. Like if you look at his stats, he had this 1 year that like it was his knee or whatever, and he started 17, right? But if you look at the rest, like he has a pretty good history recently. 72, 68, 17, and 64, and then still 46 last year. It seemed like he was injured all the time. I think if of course last year was a lot of groin stuff, which is scary. But I would not be surprised if he can start 60 again. A little bit less. But I agree with you that I think from a starts perspective, I don't know if saying, oh my God, I'm not taking Will Butcher. Someone recommended Butcher. Ugh. No, thank you. I will never. There is nothing in this world that could make me. Schwartz is a steal. Like, so far, I might wager that Schwartz may be the biggest steal of the draft so far. Perhaps. Vince Dunn. Okay. Yes. So I guess we're getting down to the upside here. It's fine. We can go with the upside guys now. I'm going to have to do it, aren't I? I'm so glad this isn't a real league. Aaron Ekblad. Sirs and madams. Why are we taking Aaron Ekblads here? This is not an Aaron Ekblad league. Okay, so I need a second goalie. Look, I think Varlamov is actually being faded a little bit too hard from a 26. I think there's of course, there's an injury risk. The issue there is that, like, look at what Leonard and Greiss did last year, and I know everyone's saying, like, oh, but Tomas Greiss is there. Greiss sucks. He had one good season last year. I like Varlamov a lot more, and playing behind Trotz, and not to mention Varlamov is now going to get a great goalie coach in Mitch Koren. So I'm going to go Semyon Varlamov here. Peter Mrazek is a good option. I trust Varlamov more than Peter Mrazek is the God honest truth. Okay, and now we're getting to what do I do with this other one. So my last pick I'm going to save. I know what I'm going to do on forward here. You guys are going to love it because we were talking about him today in the Discord. Here we go. We're going to go with LeBanc. Yep. High upside guy. He is ranked way too low here, in my opinion. 1942 is still pretty good. ADP of 176. He's right in the wheelhouse of what I'm getting him at. And he has, I think, perhaps the highest ceiling. And last year, he was ranked around 90th. If he can do something similar as last year, points-wise, at this late in the draft, you're looking at a pretty good pick. So I'm going Kevin LeBanc. And that'll round out my bench. So now I just need to gamble on some defensemen. You know, I grew up being an Avalanche fan, so I have a very big soft spot for as an Avalanche fan. Or I have a soft spot for Avs goalies, and I've followed Avs goalies for a long time. It's Wah who got me into hockey, and I think Varlamov doesn't suck. It's scary, of course, that he, I think it's scary that he may not start. But from a stats perspective, like, you're taking a guy in Tomas Greiss who hasn't been great, at least not fantastic, and then you give him Mitch Koren and you give him the defensive structure that Barry Trotz plays, and you turned this guy who was a very like all-around goalie, like 908, 925, 913, 892 to a 927, and Robin Lehner was like around a 927 as well. I think he can do the same thing for Varlamov. So it's not so much Varlamov is not so much a pick of who he is. It's just more of who I think he could be if the Trotz and Mitch Koren effect take hold on him as well. Yeah, the starts is the big question. I mean, look, Varlamov, let's see his starts in the past few years. I'm pretty sure they have not been great. Yeah, 49, 51, 24, 57, 57. He's been injured a lot. I mean, if I would take in the 50s, I'm happy with that. That's fine. And especially if you look at kind of the win ratio that he had. And he wasn't terrible last year. He was 909 and then 920. And last year he struggled with a lot of injuries. This goal save above average is not great. But again, Mitch Koren, Barry Trotz, that's what I'm betting on. Okay, Jacob Vrana and Brandon Montour. A lot of these picks are kind of making me feel good that I took Kevin LeBanc, honestly. Not in a bad way, but I'm happy with what I did. Okay, so going back to the Riddick point, someone asked if Riddick is being faded too hard. I think that this early on in the season and this early of drafting, people are properly fading both Riddick and Talbot. No one really knows what the hell's going to happen, and it sounds kind of like they're willing to give somebody around 50 starts if they earn it, but they have to fight for it. And that uncertainty in a league like this where volume matters so much, you just don't want that uncertainty. And it also feels like you're just going to have to – they're waiver wire goalies simply for the fact that it could be a 10-game stretch for Talbot and a 10-game stretch for Riddick. And so then now you're going to end up dropping them anyways, so there's not really a point to having them. Whereas – for the Islanders, for example, what I like is that usually, and if you look at what they did last year with Leonard, it was a lot of like in the same week they'll both get starts sort of thing, as opposed to one taking the starting role. Whereas in Calgary last year, that's kind of what we saw: a stretch for Mike Smith, a stretch for David Riddick. I don't like playing that game, and I think a lot of people kind of the same way, that they just don't really want that uncertainty over stretches. And I'll agree with that. I'm kind of the same way, to be honest. At least I don't blame people for doing that whatsoever, if that's what they're actually doing. Brandon gets Getzlaf. That's a good pick. Good upside pick until he gets second line because Sam Steele takes over. Just saying. Hot take. Yeah, Getzlaf is getting faded a little bit too hard in general, I think. I would disagree very, very heavily that there's zero chance that Sam Steele gets top center. I think it's very real possibility Sam Steele gets top center. If Getzlaf gets hurt and Sam Steele kills it, which, I mean, Getzlaf will get hurt. It is a guarantee. If Getzlaf gets hurt and Sam Steele crushes it, there's a situation where Getzlaf comes back and they're just like, hey, man, we're going to start giving the rookie starts. I will happily bet that Sam Steele has a chance. We can't bet on the fact that Sam Steele has a chance unless you give me really good odds. Like, if you really think that there's zero chance, you better be giving me really good odds, and I will take it. But I think there is a chance. Of course, I admit that it's low, but I don't think it's a 0% chance. I think it's more like a 15 to 20% chance that Getzlaf loses the top line spot. Okay, now we're getting into full gamble mode. Travis Sanheim, Ryan Ellis, Josh Anderson. I like the Drouin pick a lot, actually, there. Drouin feels like a really, really good pick. I don't know how I feel about Anderson. He's more of a banger, not much of a point getter. But again, I think we're getting into the territory of it's just you're pretty much guessing at this point no matter what. And you're probably dropping most of these guys anyways. Yanni Gourde. Okay. Oh, we are getting into... I have to draft a defenseman now. This is tough. So I absolutely have to draft a defenseman. Kind of a nice thing on this sheet as well. Here, let's pull this up here. So here you can see kind of who's available still. Here's the ADP. Let's filter out the positions here. Let's just go to defenseman only. Take a look at what's available. So these are all the picks. So you see Matthias Ekholm, who I actually think I might have not put into the sheet yet, but he was picked. Yeah, you can see that it's rough. I mean, these ranks are awful. This is bad. I don't even know I'm still scrolling. I'm just seeing if there's like somebody that I may have. I mean, you know what I'm gonna do. If I were drafting this early, like you look at these guys and Ekholm, not top power. I broke something. Ekholm, not top power play. McDonough, not top power play. Muzzin, not top power play. Lindell, not top power play. Branston, not top power play. McAvoy, not unless there's an injury. You know, there's all these guys, so I'm actually going to go very off the board on this next one. And if you've watched any of these mock drafts, I think you might have a good idea of who I'm going to go with next. But we'll see. So let's go back over to the draft board here real quick and fill some of this stuff in. Let's go back to that's my music. Okay. Kadri is a good pick there. High upside with that top power play. Mike Green, I still don't know who gets top power play in Detroit. And with the draft this early, I can't believe we've already done this many mocks this early in the year. It's fun as hell, but there's so much just guessing work of who is going where. Kapanen in there is a good pick, I think. There's one guy in particular that I really want. So the bet with Brandon could potentially... Curtis Gabriel, you did that on purpose to rile me up. You are a hack, sir. Brandon took Curtis Gabriel. You took Curtis Gabriel. That is an awful, awful pick in a points only. And that was simply to rile me up. I'm not taking the bait, but I know exactly what you're doing. And Brandon wants to do this because he wants me to point out the fact that Curtis Gabriel in a Bangers League should be on your watch list 100% no matter what. And we'll talk about that in the Metro episode. He's on the Philadelphia Flyers now. Good for Pims. I actually talked to Brandon about this. Curtis Gabriel, if he gets enough time, could break single-day pickups, I think. Because Curtis Gabriel is pretty much a guarantee to fight anytime he's in the game. If he plays 20 games this year, right, that's a lot of games where he could fight. And you're talking about a guy who could potentially genuinely win you a matchup or completely get tossed or whatever every single time he plays. So that means that whoever grabs him, and he's not worth rostering, so he's always going to be on the waiver. But if you pick him up, like, you're almost guaranteed to get ridiculous amount of PIMs. So there's a case where he may be one of the first players in a while that breaks single-day pickups, simply because he's going, if you run PIMs, simply because he's going to get a PIM almost any time. And like Brandon pointed out, 59 PIMs last year in 22 games played. That's absurd. It's just ridiculous. He's like a surefire pickup, and you're going to get PIMs every single time. So man, a lot of guys going here that are Antti Niemi. That's because he was picked by MT Nieti. Okay, I like that. That's clever. Picked him just for the name. Okay, I can go with that. So I said that I was going to go off the board here, and I had said before that I wanted someone with upside here, because most likely I'm going to be dropping this defenseman no matter what. Like, look at these defensemen. What the hell? Whatever. I can pick one of these guys up if I really need him. And there's the devil right there. Look, staring me in the eyes. Literally, he's a devil. See, it's not mean. Okay. Now, I want to go either Bouchard, who I think is actually the only defenseman I can pick. Do they have Pearson in the game yet? They don't have Pearson in the game, so I can't actually pick Pearson. Otherwise, I'd probably pick Pearson. I think he has a better shot. I'm gonna draft Bouchard. In the off chance that Bouchard gets top power play, I get him. That's it. I'm going highest upside possible, because if he does get top power play, that's a steal, absolute steal with the last round pick, and not to mention that you're probably going to drop that guy anyway. So let's take a quick look here at the teams. So let's see. You see my team with Kucherov, Panarin, Taylor Hall, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Sean Couturier, Kyle Connor, Thomas Chabot, Matt Dumba, Shane Gostisbehere, Evan Bouchard, Jacob Markstrom, Varlamov, Elias Lindholm, Ryan Johansson, Jason Zucker, and Kevin LeBanc. I love my forwards. I think I did a great job getting my forwards down. It's just, my issue, of course, is defense there. And while, someone pointed out that McDonough didn't go with the defense I have, totally makes sense. I think that the thing with it is that with my last round pick, I want to secure upside, and that's Bouchard. I don't think anyone is going to go out there. If I look at all the defense that was left here, I wish I could see. I hate that it doesn't let you see players here. But if you look at the defense that was left, there's not that many really, right? Like, there's just not that many defensemen left that are worth it. So I'd rather just take an upside guy, and then if I need to later, pick up a guy like McDonough or whatever if I really need to. So my defense is good, half of it. I like Chabot, I like Dumba. Gostisbehere is a really good upside pick, and I got him pretty late. And then Bouchard, of course, is just pure upside. And then I love LeBanc, where I got him. I like my team a lot, to be honest. I think goalies are an issue, and I think what I can do here is, with this team, most likely what I do is come sometime middle of the season, I'd maybe debate trading like a bench guy, because I have some pretty good bench players here for a goaltender or a defense. So I'd probably eye that at some point, let them get hot. And of course, that is if they get if one of those guys kind of gets hot and actually lives up to this upside potential that I see in them, that's when I could sell them, right? So that would kind of be my gamble there. Look at Nieti, McDavid, Larkin, Wheeler, Kessel, Domi, Horvat, Yandel, Doughty, Ekblad, and Montour, Jones, Niemi, of course Niemi, Pacioretty, Athanasiou, Kachuk. Well-balanced team, not the strongest of bench, it seems. At least, I'll take that back. I like Athanasiou. I like Zuccarello. I'm not sure I'm that high on Kachuk. Pacioretty as well, shot production is going down, which means most likely goals are going down. But he got him late enough that it makes sense. The defense, Yandel and Doughty are good. I don't like Ekblad. I don't like Montour, personally. And I don't have much room to talk because I have Bouchard, obviously, rostered. But anyways, don't mind that. Let's go to Brandon's really quick, just because I know he's watching. I want to give him some hell here. So Ovechkin, Rantanen, Bergeron, Ben, Barzell, Dadonov, Dahlin, Trouba, Pulak, Ronek, Vasilevsky, Quick, Nugent-Hopkins, Gallagher, Getzlaf, and Gabriel. Not going to lie, I like this team. It's not as safe as his head-to-head points draft, which he went just straight floor on. It was hilarious. There is some ceiling here. I like the Rantanen pick that he got him when he did. I'm not sure I agree with the Ben pick. Like I had said that during the draft. I like the defense quite a bit in Dahlin, Trouba, Pulak, and Ronek. It might be one of the best defense out there in terms of just upside. Pulak is a good upside guy. Roenick is a good upside guy. But the floor is pretty low. It's a little worrying. The goaltenders are fantastic, of course. I think the thing is that even though it's not as high of a floor as it was with the other team, it is still a pretty good floor team with not as much ceiling as you'd like. Like, a lot of these guys are pretty what you see is what you get guys for the most part. Yeah, it seems, and Curtis Gabriel is obviously a throwaway. Getzlaff is whatever. So yeah, I don't mind that. And then, I'd run through these teams, but to be honest, without Brandon, it's a little bit of a moot point because it's just me talking. But I do like the goalies here in Price and Mrazek. That was a good combo. I didn't even notice that. That's a great combo at the end there. This defense is pretty solid as well. Quentin Hughes has upside. I think that the issue there is that you're going to be sharing time 5-on-5 with Edler, which makes it a little bit tough. Let's go Team Gambo here. Decent defense. This goalie situation could be trouble just from a starts perspective. I think more than anything, that's what you're looking at there. Did 40 chess play some 40 chess? Fleury and Grubauer are great defense options, or goalie options. Makar, Ekman Larson, Letang, and Chychrun, good. Low floor, though, I think, especially with Makar, Larson, and Chychrun. And Chychrun, I don't know if I like the Chychrun, Ekman Larson stack there in that situation, but not bad. So there you go. That is the draft. Oh, Jesus, this one is actually really good. Look at this defense. Erik Karlsson, PK Subban, Dustin Byfuglien, and Vince Dunn. Woo-wee. That's a good team. I like this team a lot, actually. Seahawk did well again. Patty Kane, Giroux, Line A. Big upside in Line A. Jeff Skinner, Vincent Trocheck, Kyle Palmieri. I love this defense. Karlsson, Subban, and Byfuglien. That's great. I think if I could do my draft over, I'd probably take a defense a little bit earlier, even though I love my forwards. And I'd say I like my forwards a ton. I don't like my defense, which I don't think is even doing it justice to just how bad my defense is. But anyways, thanks for joining in. I think you guys did a damn good job. This was a fun one again. There was quite a few players off the board, and it was interesting to see all the different strategies taken from a points perspective, and how the teams were. Like, you could see that sometimes teams specifically went for goals, sometimes they went for assists. Sometimes they were targeting specific just team exposure, and you can do that in a points-only league. I think that's fair to do. You could see how some went for upside, some didn't go for upside, that kind of thing. So I'll definitely post all these teams somewhere out there. We'll do a little article or something like that and post out the teams and see how each one looks. But yeah, I think that went pretty damn well. And so the next one will be on Yahoo. Also, tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit of a surprise one. Brandon may be around, may not be around. We'll see, depending on his kid situation. But what I want to do is I want to do some random mock drafts on Yahoo. So I'll let you know when I do that and when I'm going to be in the mock kind of lobby. And I'll let you know which one exactly I'm joining. And we can just kind of do maybe an hour or two of mocks and figure it out from there. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next mock draft. Peace.